I find it very disturbing that the Seventh-day Adventist Church today claims to come from the original Seventh-day Adventist. This is a false claim. This is a misdirection and misinformation. The Seventh-day Adventist of today is not the same as the Seventh-day Adventist of yesterday. But the church continues to cover up this hypocrisy by being dishonest, by being untruthful. And if you will confront these leaders today in the General Conference, they will use our pioneers as their founders, far from the truth. The General Conference today is a reorganized, different church, except that they capture the name for themselves, Seventh-day Adventist. That's why there are so many splintered groups that have tracing their roots from Seventh-day Adventist Church. You see, friends, this is what they did to our pioneers. James White, Ellen White, Joseph Bates. They said that the doctrine of the pioneers were wrong. They were in error. But they would use their names to name their institutions. Isn't that not hypocrisy? That is a clairvoyant, very plain hypocrisy, dishonesty. I call for dishonesty to be exposed in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. There are so many greedy, avaricious, dishonest Seventh-day Adventists. Perhaps many of them are ignorant. Perhaps many of them are just blinded or unconscious, or they don't want to know. They are satisfied where they are. Yet, they need to be confronted because they took the name which was given by God to our pioneers. They took the name and make it as their own, as though they came from the right source. No, the Seventh-day Adventists today with their Trinity doctrine came from a different source, but they are using, after betraying our pioneers, they're using the name of James White, Joseph Bates, John Evans Andrews, Ellen G. White. If these pioneers and founders who wrote voluminous books, produced original works during their lifetimes, and the church 50 years, they will be so ashamed that the name Seventh-day Adventist now is dragged into this present, not only Laodicean condition, but dishonest condition. Case in point here, another hypocrisy from Seventh-day Adventism is the article From Small Beginnings, Streams of Light, Adventist Review. They're trying to connect themselves to the non-Trinitarian root. Although they betrayed already the faith of our pioneers, but they would still conveniently use them. My case and my claim is they stopped using James and Ellen G. White, because James and Ellen G. White, for honesty's sake, they were all non-Trinitarians. They reject the Trinity. They are not the Trinitarian Seventh-day Adventists. And the Seventh-day Adventist Trinitarians, like Ted Wilson, could not, by all account, could not trace their root with Ellen G. White and James White. They should be ashamed of themselves. But this is the reality of our world today. Shameless hypocrites, politicians. There are so many politicians inside the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And it is a shame that they not only betrayed the pioneers by replacing their belief and telling all the world that they were wrong, yet they used their names to memorialize that they are tracing their roots from James and Ellen G. White's founding church. Hypocrisy. Seventh-day Adventists today should, by their conscience-stricken dishonesty, should be awakened and stop calling Seventh-day Adventists Trinitarian Seventh-day Adventists, because the original Seventh-day Adventists, they were all in unanimous rejection of the Trinity doctrine. You see, it saddens those who are reading the Word of God and those who are adhering to the fundamental principles, that they are the ones who are outside of the name Seventh-day Adventist, and the name Seventh-day Adventist is being hostage by the Trinitarians. So much unfairness, so much injustice, so much lies that they thought, the Trinitarians thought, they were able to get away with the perfect crime, changing the religion of the pure faith of the SDA. It is mute in academic right now to fight it with the name SDA because the governments, the United States government, had already sided with the Trinitarian SDA that that name is theirs alone and no one else could use it. They trademarked it legally. This is the satanic spirit that I see that is guiding the leadership of the church, leading the members blind, confused, bewildered, bewitched by spiritism and all sorts of unscriptural sermons and teachings. The present Seventh-day Adventist Church must stop altogether tracing their roots to the non-Trinitarians. This Seventh-day Adventist Trinitarian is not the true, real Adventist. It is a counterfeit. It is a fake Adventism. The true Adventism rejected Trinity. The true Adventism rejected all that is inside and what is happening in the SDA church, because all of them are true to the Word of God. They were peculiar. They were the remnant. They stand firm, steadfast, and loyal to the Word of God. If our pioneer's spirit is alive today, just like the spirit of Elijah, there will be no debate on woman pastors. There will be no debate in the order of things in the seventh. There will be no debate whether to accept and bless the abominable practices of the LGBTQIA. There will be no fashion inside a church. There will be no casual feasting and potluck and buffets full of unclean and not only unclean meats, but flesh meat. There will be no Seventh-day Adventists that will be second-guessing the health and the dress reform. There will be no Seventh-day Adventists. If our pioneer spirit is alive in the leadership of the church today, true to their principles, this Seventh-day Adventist church could have finished the work a long time ago. But no. The Seventh-day Adventist church had derailed and apostatized. That's why our world field, people of God, is the Seventh-day Adventist church. Those who accepted the Sabbath but are confused on who God is. They are our mission field. The Seventh-day Adventists who accepted the seventh-day Sabbath but are worshiping the wrong God. They are what we need to preach and teach. And if they refuse and if they reject by virtue of their satisfaction and complacency that this Seventh-day Adventist Trinitarian is the right church, then let them be. We cannot force them. But I would like to point out the hypocrisy. The church that started rejecting Trinity is now a Trinitarian. And they would claim that their pioneers were wrong. But they still use the names of those pioneers. James White. Hypocrisy. Dishonesty. Greed, avarice. Seduced by the enemy. The General Conference is accountable for this mayhem, for this great confusion. The souls of the millions of those who accepted sincerely the seventh-day Sabbath, but they do not know and understand who that God they worship on the Sabbath. Let me tell you, friends, the Roman Catholic Church worship on Sunday, rest on Sunday as their Sabbath, and they worship the three-in-one God. Seventh-day Adventists lightly regarding the Sabbath. 44 years of apostasy, and they worship the God of Rome. Leave because the wine of Babylon is being offered in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It's time to practice Seventh-day Adventism in spirit and truth. As we worship God in spirit and truth, we must welcome the counsels of the Lord's messenger, the inspirational messages, the relevant message for us to leave the cities and preach to the Seventh-day Adventists today who are blinded, who are Laodicean, nominal, drunk with the wine of Babylon. That they are our mission field. And if they refuse, their bloods are not in our hands. And there is no other time setting. We are waiting as it is tarrying, as it was during the founding of our church. The extended time of mercy is where we are living now. And soon, this will be over. We have been given the light. We must trace back our roots to the original faith, not to the Seventh-day Adventist Trinitarian. We must go back as far as the apostolic faith, the faith of Peter and the rest of the disciples and apostles, the faith of the prophets, the faith of Adam, that he saw the Father and his only begotten Son before their sin, and that he, Adam, knew that there are only two divine beings, the Father who has a true literal Son. You see, friends, the hypocrisy is not to be our lifestyle. We must be honest seekers. And if they don't want to receive this truth, we move on. We continue to preach to those who are willing. The Seventh-day Adventist preaches out of the Catholic, but they are still the same, worshiping the Trinity. We preach, we warn the Seventh-day Adventists out of Adventism Trinity to the true Adventism, worship of the one true God our Father through his Son, Jesus Christ. May God our Father bless